still need to access the adjutant we retrieved from Tarsonis. Our old mercenary associate, Colonel Orlin, is an expert in Confederate code decryption. If our intel's right, he should still be based at the Merkhaven at Dead Man's Port. He's not very trustworthy, but he's our best bet of breaking that encryption. Dead Man's Port. It's risky just waiting here with all these mercenaries around. Colonel Orlin's sure taking his time decrypting that adjutant for us.
Yeah, I'm getting a bad feeling about this.
Incoming transmission.
James, Orlan decrypted your adjutant, but he's planning to sell it to the Dominion. Must have been something exciting in there. He wants me to keep you off his back until they arrive.
That's nice, Mira. But why are you telling me all this?
Because I like you and Matthew better than him, of course. Match Orlan's offer, and I will help you take him out instead. He's paying in minerals, so I'll give you the same deal.
Done. Always a pleasure, Mira.
Don't take too long now. If Orlan comes up with the goods first, I will have to side with him. Oh, and say hello to Matthew for me. Ask him why he never calls.
It's gonna be hard to get minerals down there. We'll have to find salvage if we're gonna hire Mira before Orlan does. Think she'll help Orlan, sir?
She's a mercenary. She'll help whoever pays the most.
Sir, the decrypted adjutant is back in the lab and ready to go.
Well, old girl, we dug you up on Tarsonis. Were you online during the Zerg attack? Do you remember anything about Arcturus Mengs being involved?
Mengs, Arcturus, ex-Confederate officer, civilian prospector, founder and leader of the Sons of Korhal terrorist group. Status, criminal. Accessing intercepted transmission 0081 to 0086 Alpha.
This is Duke. The emitters are secured and online.
Who authorized the use of psi emitters?
I did, Lieutenant.
What? The Confederates on Antigua were bad enough, but now you're gonna use the Zerg against an entire planet? This is insane!
She's right, man. Think this through.
I have thought it through. Believe me. You all have your orders. Carry them out. I will not be stopped. Not by you, or the Confederates, or the Protoss, or anyone. I will rule this sector, or see it burnt to ashes around me.
Holy... I can't believe it! We can nail Mengs to the wall with this.
I can't believe it. That recording proves it's all true. Mengs, Tarsonis, all of it. What will you do now?
Tell the people. Every man, woman, and child in the Dominion needs to know what their beloved Emperor is capable of.
The backlash will be awful. There'll be riots and uprisings everywhere. But that's just what you want, isn't it?
It's a start.
Emperor, much has been written in regards to the tragic fall of Tarsonis. Toloski's investigative documentary, Imperial Dawn, even claims that you brought down the Confederate system by assuring Tarsonis' fall.
I've heard these conspiracy theories before, but the fact remains. The Zerg invaded Tarsonis en masse, and no force in the universe could have stopped their onslaught. It was a very terrible day.
Toloski's film highlights the seeming convenience of the aliens annihilating a corrupt government that you yourself spent a lifetime trying to overthrow.
Millions died that day, and you speak to me of convenience? Yes, I strove against the evils of the old Confederacy, but never with the object of personal gain. When I was called upon to take up the heavy burden of leadership, I did so only to ensure our continuing survival as a species.
Striking words from the Emperor himself. Up next, Zerglings allergic to lemon juice? Old wives' tale? Or new super weapon in the fight for humanity?
I gotta know, just what was it went down between you and Mengsk? Seems you boys were tight once.
I used to think Mengsk be a force for change. Fought alongside him right up until Tarsonis. That's where he crossed the line, by using Zerg to murder the whole planet. He left Kerrigan there to die because she called him out on it. Turned out he was just as rotten as the Confederacy ever was.
Damn. You sure know how to pick your friends, Jimmy.
Don't think I'm no fool, but please excuse.
Those goofy mercs are still using vultures, can you believe it? Damn things are death traps, even when you ain't got people shooting at you.
Careful now, Swan. My old vulture saved my skin more times than I care to remember. I ain't gonna listen to you trash talk a classic piece of engineering like that.
Classic? I suppose you can call them that. Of course, most folks like a bike that don't explode on them when the repeller seals freeze up, or the fuel cells start leaking radioactive waste. But hey, who cares if it's a classic, right?
No one likes a smart-ass, Swan.
If Mirahan calls, I'm just busy. The decrypted adjutant contains records proving Mengsk ordered the massacre on Tarsonis. Now we just need to broadcast those records. Mirahan gave us a tip that might help. The Dominion is unveiling a new war machine called the Odin on Korhal. If we hijack the Odin, we can use it to gain access to the UNN studios and broadcast the records of Mengsk's war crimes. The Odin is currently in the testing facility on Valhalla.
Our team's in position. We're ready to steal the Odin. Are you absolutely sure about this, sir?
Yep. Tychus is definitely our best man for this kind of job. He does get a little excited in combat. We're gonna need to keep up with him once the fighting starts.
If he can actually commandeer the Odin, it's vital that we take out all the Dominion bases in the area. Hopefully we can block all transmissions long enough for him to do that. We can't risk word of this getting back to Korhal.
How much do we know about this Odin?
It's an experimental super heavy siege walker designed for prolonged frontline combat. Very powerful.
Great. Even Tychus can't wreck it then.
Here they go.
Go, go, go!
Well, you fought real good out there, Tychus. Your time in the freezer didn't dull your edge none.
Well, fear and violence always did bring out the best in me.
Have to admit, we always did make a good team.
Yeah. Well, that was until I went to prison and you went legit.
Right.
Kate Lockwell reporting from UNN headquarters on Korhal. Let's go to Donnie Vermillion on special assignment.
Kate, I'm very pleased to be talking to General Horace Warfield. General, I understand that Dominion forces will soon be showing off their newest weapon, the Odin War Machine.
That's correct, Donnie. We'll show the Odin on the streets of Korhal itself, with full coverage from your fine network.
General, Kate Lockwell here. I've heard rumblings about some sort of logistics trouble with the Odin's debut.
Now, Kate. It's true, Kate. The Odin was delayed in shipping, and we briefly lost communication with the production facility. But it arrived safely, so we can go ahead with the unveiling.
You heard it here first. The Dominion unveiling new weapons of destruction on the streets of Korhal.
What is wrong with that woman? Tell her not to interrupt my interviews!
Your boy Horner is actually pulling this off. Gotta say, I'm mighty impressed.
Ever wonder why Minx don't just send him ghosts to kill ya? You've been a thorn in his side for a long time.
Assassinating me just turned me into a martyr. He'd never be rid of me then. He needs to kill my reputation first.
Very good. You think clearly despite your hate for him. Course his patience has got limits too. Tread careful, Mr. Reyna. Someone on this ship is already working for Minsk. I can feel it.
So how does the Odin raid as a fighting machine?
Brother, it is the single greatest creation in the history of mankind. Striding around and dispensing righteous fury just about brought a tear to my eye. You just let me know when I can take it out for another spin.
You'll get your chance soon enough, old buddy. Don't you worry. So, Swan, what are the chances we can build something like that Odin?
You nuts? No way we've got the facilities for mass-producing hardware on that scale.
And here I was thinking you could build anything, Swan.
Cute. All right, forget the scale. I'm gonna figure it out, don't you worry. And I'll come up with something a damn sight more practical than that showpiece. You see if I don't.
Sir, when Tychus came back aboard the ship, I had the techs run a scan on him.
Matt, you need to get a hobby.
Seriously, sir. His suit contains a sophisticated transponder. If it receives the correct code, it'll shut down all his major organs. That suit is a death trap.
He's got a gun to his head.
And who's got their finger on the trigger? Mobius?
Tychus, what have you gotten yourself into?
We have the Odin. Now we can use it to spearhead our takeover of the UNN studios on Korhal. Once the Odin has taken out their defenses, we'll broadcast our evidence against Minsk. Figure they'll throw everything they have at us. They'll be talking about this one for years.
Our raid on the Valhalla facility hasn't even been reported yet. The Dominion have no idea we stole the Odin. I had to call in every favor I had, but I got the Odin on the surface with Tychus inside.
Matt, you're a miracle worker. Must have been a complicated operation.
You don't even want to know, sir. I'm not gonna let anything keep us from exposing Minsk.
So they're still expecting to film it at the UNN studios later today?
That's right. And we won't disappoint them. Seeing as he's the only one with experience, Tychus will pilot the Odin and hit the studio guards with a surprise attack. They'll be confused for several minutes, and won't even know who to attack at first.
And during the confusion, we'll establish a forward base using this command center we acquired earlier. Pretty devious, Matt. I like it.
If Tychus can inflict enough damage during the sneak attack, making the broadcast should be relatively easy. Keep in mind, we'll only have a few minutes before the Dominion realize that Tychus is in the Odin. Once they figure it out, they'll use everything they've got to stop us.
Whatever happens, we'll be giving Menks one hell of a broadcast. Let's do this.
These shocking revelations, a veritable firestorm of anti-Mengsk sentiment.
The Emperor held a news conference earlier today.
How do you respond to these allegations of genocide?
abusing aliens to...
I assure you, these slanderous attacks against the throne are baseless and irresponsible.
Sir, do you still stand by the sentiment that selfless devotion to the people is the basis of your rule?
Well, of course. I was called upon to serve the greater interest of humanity. Personal power was never my goal.
Then how would you characterize this statement?
I will not be stopped. Not by you or the Confederates or the Protoss or anyone. I will rule this sector or see it burnt to ashes around me.
I won't stand for this. You jackals think you can come in here and question me? This interview is over.
You know, I love seeing him squirm. But the Dominion's just gonna spin this like they do everything else.
Not this time. Mengsk used the media as a weapon for years, and now we've turned it against him. One broadcast. And won us a bigger victory than 100 battles.
I guess you're right. Well, it's what we started this revolution for in the first place. We've got a long way to go. Maybe we started something here.
Hearts and minds, man. Just like you always said.
You know, Matt, someday you're gonna wind up leading this bunch of misfits.
Oh, no. That's what I keep you around for, sir.
Kate Lockwell here, live from Core Hall. There's rioting in the streets. Citizens are setting fire to government buildings to express their shock and anger at the startling revelations from earlier today. Donnie, what's the situation where you are?
I had a brother on Tarsonis. I had a brother there.
Right. Thanks for that, Donnie. Okay. Emperor Mengsk broadcast a statement earlier today. Unfortunately, UNN satellites were on lockdown at the time. Let's replay a bit of that.
This evidence has been falsified. The enemies of the Dominion will go to any length to soil my good reputation. These ruthless, slanderous attacks cannot...
At that point, the Emperor was shouted down. He's since retreated to his palace and refuses to speak to anyone. In this reporter's opinion, Emperor Mengsk has been revealed as a...
You see? Told you I could build something better than that piece of crap, Odin.
I like that. That's the spirit, brother. Show 'em who's boss.
Got some work to do on the chassis still, but I got to thinking about upgrades and variants, you know? They ain't gonna be cheap, cowboy. Big honking thing like that never is. But they'll be worth it, you'll see.
That's what I like to hear. I'll take a look and see what's affordable. Well, so you thinking about giving up this life of luxury and becoming a professional broadcaster?
Oh, regular folks just ain't ready for the raw sex appeal I'd unleash into the great little lives. I reckon my niche is right here with you, old buddy. Right to the end.
I'm glad you're part of all this, Tychus. You did real good today. Those classified documents we found on Core Hall weren't anything special. Just referred to some old bioweapons lab orbiting Castanar.
I think this one might be different. The file suggests they were planning to terminate everyone who ever worked there.
I assume that doesn't mean firing them. But why would Mengsk want to kill a whole research staff?
I don't know. But it seems like something we should check out.
It does indeed.
The classified documents we found on Core Hall imply the Dominion has a top-secret bioweapons lab on an orbital platform at Castanar. If the Dominion is cooking up a big surprise for us, I'd like to know about it.
So what's the scoop on this top-secret death lab?
This asteroid is registered as a beryllium storage warehouse. But that must be a cover for the Dominion's biolab.
Let's hope so. We'd look pretty silly coming all this way for a few tons of beryllium. Did those documents give us any clues as to what the Dominion's cooking up in there?
No, sir. But they did contain some of the facility's security codes, so we may be able to hack into their systems.
Sounds fun. Well, as long as we're here, we may as well take a look. These creatures, they ain't like any Zerg I've ever seen before.
Matt, scan their biosignatures.
Hold on. The signal's weak in there. Wait. Sir, I'm reading both Zerg and Protoss DNA. Were those things assimilated somehow?
I don't know. But I'm real curious as to what they're doing inside a Dominion lab. Looks like the same creature was mutated and cloned over and over. Matt, you got any additional info?
Stedman's been running some tests, sir. He says the specimen's DNA strands have been artificially spliced. Whoever's in charge of this mess did it deliberately.
You can count on me. Sounds like a plan.
Containment field weakening. Protoss-Zerg hybrid reviving.
Emergency! Emergency! Containment breach! We're all gonna die!
My lord. Am I seeing this right?
We should get out of here right now.
That thing down there. It was like the hybrid Zeratul fought.
Here? But how?
Minsk. It's always Minsk. The end of the universe is coming, and I should have known he'd be behind it.
But how did he hybridize Zerg and Protoss? The technology required is way beyond anything Terrans have developed. He can't be working alone on this.
Shotgun, and I'm bringing home to you.
Whatever you found down there makes me afraid. What was it?
Something monstrous. A Zerg Protoss hybrid. It must have been a powerful sight for you to feel it scream from all the way up here.
Searing, blinding, like feeling the sun burn in your face with your eyes squeezed shut. I never felt a thing like that before. I hope I never do again.
And I'm bringing home to you.
This is Kate Lockwell for UNN. Donnie Vermillion remains on sick leave. Get better, Donnie. Coming up later, we begin a 10-part expose on corruption in the Dominion government. How high does it go? Tonight, however, I'd like to return to the topic of Tarsonis and the day it fell. Families ripped apart, literally, when the savage Zerg arrived. Mountains of dead bodies, deserted cities. Let's play that clip again.
I will rule this sector or see it burnt to ashes around.
Stop! Wait! You can't just come in here! By order of Dominion Security, this newscast is terminated.
We finally got you, Arcturus. Nice to see the media taking shots at you for a change.
I don't even want to talk about what you found down there. Can't you see I'm drinking?
Bucket.
What in the hell's name did you stir up in that lab, cowboy?
Minx is taking the plane god literally now. He made that thing and a whole heap more like it. And who knows how many other labs he's got out there.
Great. Like we ain't got enough to handle with the Zerg. Now we got Minx breeding his own damn monsters too.
I don't know what Manx was trying to do in that lab, but I think he's in over his head.
Commander, our mutual friends at the Mobius Foundation have located the last artifact fragment. When this final piece is secured, we can proceed to Char and confront Kerrigan. Good luck, Mr. Rayner. I fear you'll need it. My Mobius associates have finally tracked down the last piece of the artifact. It's on a derelict Zelnaga ship located within the Sigma Quadrant.
Pretty far off the beaten path, Junior.
The artifact is here. The ship has several ripfield generators which disintegrate everything at a molecular level in a matter of moments. Fortunately, our new Minotaur-class battlecruisers should be able to survive the fields long enough to destroy the generators.
Anything else we should know?
Well, long-range scans have identified a sizable Tal'Darim force holding in the area.
We are in way over our heads on this one, Jimmy. Walking into rip fields. I didn't sign up for no suicide mission. We should just take the money and run.
Getting cold feet, Tygus?
I lost 9 years in prison on account of you. Ain't tossing what's left of my life away just so you can rescue your little princess. Remember, you own me, partner.
Not enough to quit on something like this. You're relieved. You can sit this one out, partner.
Fine, then. You know where I'll be.
Adjutant, prep the ship for jump. Let's get this over with.
Hey, you boys gotta wake up. Rayner sold us out. I joined this outfit to fight the Dominion, not work for him.
Everybody simmer down. We trusted the commander before. We should trust him now.
You can't trust that drunk. Jim Rayner's nothing but a spineless coward.
You've been nothing but poison since you got on this crate.
That right? Pathetic. Only person you can trust is yourself. The sooner you peons figure that
Heard
out.
about enough of this.
You got 'em all fooled, don't you, Jimmy? But the first sign of trouble, you'll just duck and run. It's what you do, ain't it? Me, them, that pretty little girlfriend of yours.
Don't do something you're gonna regret, Tygus. think he's right? I'm just gonna run out on you?
You got us working for the Dominion now, Commander. Taking us back to Char. It's like you're gone already.
This ain't about the Dominion. Our war's always been about saving lives. If the Zerg wipe everyone out, it's all been for nothing. So I'm going back to Char. If you're with me, it's your choice. Just like it's always been.
Now that's the commander I've been waiting on.
Satisfied?
Let's get back to work, boys.
I don't want to have this conversation again. And fix my damn jukebox.
A little help here? Anybody?